All right, guys, so to kick off our RNC masterclass, first, I just want to start talking about our back control, how to properly apply an RNC, and take a little bit of a look at some hand fighting and what the goals of our hands are for us to be able to free up that neck and get the choke. All right, so let's get in position. Say we're already on the back. Okay, so of course, I'm gonna have a really nice seat belt control, all right? The bottom hand, the one that's under his arm, is gonna be controlling the hand of my choking arm, all right? I like to hold right over my hand and wrist, so that's the part that he will get the least amount of control of, all right? If he goes to grab that part, he's only grabbing my non-choking hand, so my choking hand is always free, all right? I don't wanna grab high up and give him complete access to my hand, exactly. So I'm gonna be just like this, and you'll notice that I like to keep my thumb knuckle turned into his chest, all right? So when I'm here, I'm holding the outside of my hand, I'm keeping that part of my wrist, okay, this blade of my wrist into his chest. I'm gonna be squeezing tight, literally trying to be like the human backpack, okay, keeping my chest to his back, just like this, and always ready for my opportunity to slide and churn this right up under his chin, all right? So our first initial goal when applying the RNC is, yes, of course, to get under the chin, but then also to walk our hand over to where we can grab right behind his shoulder blade, all right? I wanna dig my fingers right behind his shoulder blade. This gives me a nice little kind of nook to lock my arm in position with, all right? This is the first thing that I want to try to achieve for my RNC application, okay? So my underhand is my helping hand, all right? That's the one that does most of the hand fighting, all right? So I can clear, all right, especially on this side, he's gonna get the stronger lock on my arm with his cross arm. So for that hand to be able to peel that wrist down and allow me to focus on getting under the chin and walking across is kind of pivotal, all right? I need this to be focused on clearing the way for me to get this hand up to his shoulder blade, all right? Once I get to the shoulder blade, now I need to pull this arm out to start to fit my actual choke, okay? So when I let go of his wrist, he may come back and grab a little bit of my arm and free a little bit of space. Now he's not gonna get it all the way down because I have my fingers locked in his shoulder blade. So it's snug, but he might free a little bit of space. If I feel that he gets some space, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use my hand once again to help me fight his hand, and I'm gonna peel it off. I'm just gonna use the C grip of my thumb and my index finger to peel that hand off and try to walk my arm deeper again, all right? Now, to go to the finish, we're not gonna do the old school traditional grab the bicep, comb the hair, all right? That's very common as the first way you learn how to apply a rear naked choke. This is not gonna happen, you know, even like blue belt level these days. He's always gonna grab this arm and keep me from being able to lock my hands, okay? So first thing, I need to make sure that he never sees this arm. He never sees it, okay? I'm gonna lock my hands just like this without my thumbs. I'm gonna clasp with my choking hand palm down, all right? Boom. And then I'm gonna churn my fingers and slide directly across the back of his neck, and my fingers are gonna go towards my opposite side's shoulders, okay? So my left hand is gonna go towards my right shoulder over here, and my right hand goes towards my bicep and my left shoulder over here on this side, okay? So he never saw my arm. I have the blade behind the back of his head, and then I can put my chin on top of my wrist. So even if he reaches back, he's not gonna be able to get it. My chin is blocking and protecting my arm, okay? Now, on the finish, I'm not gonna just pull back and like goon it, okay? When I'm here, I'm gonna try to squeeze my elbows tight together and just take my arms further across as they chop into his neck, okay? So we're really just closing everything off more than just like, pulling back, okay? So my elbows are gonna come tight together, give a nice squeeze, and there's my finish, all right? So once again, we're on the back. First thing, make sure we have the proper seat belt. We're pulling tight, we're really hugging Keeping our head right next to his head. The head position is going to become important as we start talking about laying on each of the sides, okay? My bottom hand is the one that clears, fights the wrists off, and clears the space for me to roll my hand under his chin and walk it over just like this to where I get a hold of that shoulder blade. Once I come out, I know he's probably going to grab, so I'm prepared to peel this off one time, okay? I peel, and I come right back and make my lock, all right? When I make my lock, I really take out whatever space, whatever slack there may be, okay? Notice how my choking hand is palm down, the other one is palm up, so I can pull and roll my wrist and slide my arm directly behind, hands going to opposite side shoulders. I'm closing my elbows and I'm chopping a little bit with this forearm, with my chin on top of my wrist, squeezing everything together, and we get a really tight finish, okay? Now, I want to show you inside this first video one of my favorite hand fighting techniques in the situation where maybe we made our seatbelt, but we left our arm dangling in front a little bit and he got a 2-on-1, okay? This can definitely happen, especially, you know, if we weren't able to get under the neck right away. Sometimes in the course of looking for the neck, they end up getting this control, okay? So this is actually going to be a little bit of a wrist lock, all right? It's kind of sneaky. Not everyone knows this one. It's really, really good, all right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my underarm right at the bend of his wrist, okay? Right where his wrist becomes his forearm, right here. And I'm going to reach for whatever I can in my hand and my fingers here, all right? And as I do that, I'm going to start to pull, and that's going to make him want to let go. It's going to make him want to let go, or it's like an actual wrist lock. I'm folding his hand this way, all right? You know, with his palm going up, that makes him want to let go, and then immediately I get my chance to come right down and fit my choke, all right? You notice that a lot of times when I hand fight, I like to use my big old hands and actually control their hands versus their wrist, so that way they don't get a lock like this to begin with, okay? So if I use this to break, I will control his hand as I start to dig, boom, boom, boom. Now I let go right to my gable grip, look to finish. If he pulled anything down, any slack out, I clear that one time, boom, boom, there's our finish. And there's our RNC basics, all right? It's important that we understand the roles of our arms, all right? Bottom one clearing the path. The choking one has to get to the shoulder blade, all right? Once we get that down, then the finish can become easy.